I want to turn over the floor now to Lilia. She's an independent dancer. She's a member of the collective Meta Dance, and she's going to do a dance which has been inspired by the work of these artists. So I'm just going to move my stuff and turn this.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming out. I just want to say a few words. This movement exploration that you're going to see was inspired by reading the book that Pam was talking about the revolutionary dancers living in New York City in a time of depression. And I just reflected on that, and I realized we're living in similar times. And I did this movement exploration inspired by feelings that I associate with the experience of immigration, not only in this city, but in cities across the world. And I hope you see different images.
thanks a lot to Lilia for lovely dance. And intense, too. You know it's coming from somewhere. Sort of the intensity movement. And absolutely to say that style of dance was very new in its time and had a great impact on, I think a really great impact on both the dancers of the time, but also has continued to inform the aesthetic today. And part of the reason that this dance history is lost is that the history of political art and the artists of this period has been purposely suppressed and discredited. After World War II and the beginning of the McCarthy sort of anti-communist witch hunt period, the government made an effort to discredit social realist art and political art. And the high point of this was really the blacklisting of the Hollywood writers in the 50s for leftist views, so very well-known people were definitely vilified for either their connection to political struggles or involvement in the Communist Party. And there was also a program to specifically direct public funding to art that was not critical of the system. And in the area of dance, it was Martha Grant's company that got the big ticket here. She was funded and sent on a tour as an ambassador of American culture in the 50s. And at this time, she was working on ideas about the American frontier in a choreography with composer Aaron Copland. So I think currently she's lost her funding. The government's no longer, she's not the darling now, but at that time, the attempt to say, well, this art is more worthy of public funding than that art was a very definite program. And also, in the area of visual art, that was also the period of time when abstract expressionism became the art, the new American art, received funding and support from the state and academia. And of course, abstract art had no specific message. You can maybe interpret that one, but it was not specifically saying anything about the system, and so it became the art that was elevated. And in a way, this is kind of eerily similar to Harper's attacks on artists this past fall during the election. He not only accused us of being champagne-drinking elitists, he singled out and slammed artists with leftist views. He called CBC broadcaster Abby Lewis, the son of Stephen Lewis, a general radical and undeserving of funding. He called journalist Gwen Dyer a left-wing columnist and author who had plenty of money to travel on his own. And he painted the North-South Institute, which is a policy think tank, as a left-wing anti-globalization think tank. So really actually identifying and attacking very specific artists for their political views. We have to thank the tremendous response by artists, particularly in Quebec, but also here through organizations like the Department of Culture, which I don't know if Heather's still here. Heather Hayes, who's the organizer of this gallery space, was very involved in that, because that actually pushed back Harper's agenda. He kind of made an attempt to attack artists, and it fell pretty flat. And in fact, it's actually hurt him quite a bit in Quebec right now, his political aspirations. And I just want to talk about one very specific Canadian connection to this revolutionary dancers period, but it actually was a little bit later in Quebec in the 40s. And this is a topic that we discussed a couple of series back. I just want to briefly mention Françoise Sullivan, and people may know her name or not, actually dancers do. She was part of the group that published a manifesto in 1948, Les Refus Global, Total Refusal. And it was a manifesto that was basically sort of railed against the church and the elite in Quebec for keeping a damper on society, not allowing it to develop. And she made a contribution to that called Dance and Hope, which you can read. And echoing Isadora, she talks about the primacy of kinesthetic experience in a healthy society, the idea that people have to be connected to the body and movement. She railed against academic dance as mechanical and indicative of a declining social order, so that's how she saw that. She spoke about the importance of experiencing rhythm and gravity in this contribution, Dance and Hope. And her memory is not lost in the Canadian dance scene, and there was sort of a moment when she was celebrated at the 50th anniversary, I think, of the Refus Global, and they did a tribute to her at York University, and she's also in a book called Canadian Vision.